Welcome back to another Bible-based primary assembly team video. Well, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Yes. Well, my name's John and today's episode is about learning. About learning to do the right thing. And, you know, when you meet someone, you think, wow, they are clever. Wow, they seem to be good at that. Very capable. They've learned how to do this or they've learned how to do that. And you know, when you meet people who really impress you because they can do things that perhaps you might struggle with, you might not find easy. You see, because we've all got skills and gifts and are good at some things, perhaps more than other things. That's how it is. And as you are growing up, you will find you will learn skills. Some of them you will learn easily. And you're like, oh, I can do this. Woohoo! Yes. Come on, get in. You're like, I can take on the world. I can be like world champion. I could be Olympian if this was Olympic sport. Yes. Well, the thing is, there are other things that you will try to do and you'll find those perhaps a bit harder. And even other things where you think, I can never do this. This is so difficult. But that's about learning skills, learning what you can do and pushing yourself and trying your best to learn some new things. And learning about yourself is part of it. Learning what it is that you can really excel in and developing a skill or two or three or four. In fact, the more skills you have, the better. You see, learning never stops. When you get older, like me, you're still learning to do things. I mean, about a year or so ago, I'd never ever made one of these things with a screen. It's called a video. No, really not really done much apart from one or two basic things where I pressed record and then later on I pressed stop. But I've had to learn some new skills and at times it's been a bit difficult. In fact, at times it's been a lot difficult. It's been hard. But that's how you learn, when you push yourself. Well, so we're all learning new skills. We're all learning how to do things. And life is full of learning lessons. Now, I bet you've learned that you should do this. And you shouldn't do this. And if you do this, then what might happen? What might happen? What might the consequence be? What might the consequence be if you did this? Or what might happen if you did that? Yes, there are always lessons to be learned, aren't there? And the skill is learning the important ones quickly. And then you get more out of life. In fact, life's better or life's easier. You can learn lessons all the time. Well, in our story today, there are two ladies and they have an argument. Now, it could have been two men, but in this story, it was two ladies. And they were having a big argument about who owned some property. Well, the other person in our story is the king. Let me just get my prop. So, the king in the story had an important task to sort out this problem between these two ladies, two women who were having an argument. I'm having an argument with my kingly crown. Okay, so this story is called The Wise King. The Wise King. When David died, his son Solomon became Israel's new king. And what do you think was the very first thing he did? If you were made to be king or queen, what would the first thing you choose to do? What would you first decide to do? If you could do anything you wanted, wow, what would it be? Unlimited data for your iPad? Would it be unlimited chocolate or ice cream? Would it be unlimited Freedom Pass? Or unlimited credits so you could spend them at some of your favourite places? Don't know. What would it be? I don't know. Well, let's find out what Solomon chose for his first thing. Did he pass some new laws? Hang on, just get my new laws. Oh, loads of them here. Did he pass them? No. Oops. He didn't pass new laws, no. He wasn't bothered about those. Did he send his army to fight some new enemy? Oi! I want you to go... No, he didn't do that. He didn't send his armies to fight some enemies. No, not likely. Did he order himself a fancy new crown? No, just kept with the old one. It's fine. Even if it didn't quite fit his head. That's another problem. Or did he... What did he do? The very first thing that King Solomon did was kneel down before God. He knelt down before God. Just like this. And he said, God, I want, of all things, I would like wisdom. Did you hear me, God? I would like more than anything else, God, wisdom to do the right things. So, when he'd finished kneeling down and his knees were sore, he got up. Having asked God for wisdom in his prayers, guess what happened? God gave him what he wanted. Wisdom. Because he asked God for help. And God gave him the wisdom he needed. Now Solomon could have prayed for anything. Can you imagine? He could have prayed for a Ferrari. Well, they didn't actually have Ferraris then, but he could have prayed for maybe some new horses, or a new temple, or some new clothes, or maybe, I don't know, maybe, what else would a king want in those days? I don't know. But he asked God for wisdom. He knew he needed to make good choices, and he wanted to be quick on the uptake. He needed to learn how to be a good king. He didn't want to just be any king who just decided to do what he wanted. He wanted to make good choices. He wanted wisdom. He didn't just want to be clever and to be the best. He didn't want to earn lots of money. Actually, he had lots of money anyway. He wanted to make good choices. So that's what he did. He asked God for wisdom, and God gave him wisdom. He became a very, very wise king. A king that was known for his wisdom, and people would trust King Solomon. He didn't ask for a long life. He didn't ask for victory in battle against his enemies, no. He didn't ask for loads of money. The only thing that he wanted was wisdom. He wanted to make good choices. He knew it was going to be hard ruling all these people when they wanted all sorts of different things and they had all sorts of different opinions. So he said, God, I want to do the best job I can. Help me to be wise in my choices, to do the right things at all times. What a great prayer. Well, God was so pleased with Solomon's choice to be wise, that he promised to answer Solomon's prayer with wisdom and give Solomon what he wanted. All the other things, well, he got them too. He got a long life, he had victory against his enemies, and, well, he got lots of money, because kings often do, don't they? It wasn't long before Solomon's wisdom was put to the test. 2 women came to see him one day. One of them was, in fact, holding a baby. Well, the women were arguing. The other one was very unhappy. That woman stole my baby, she cried. Her baby died, so while I was sleeping, she came and took mine. Oh, what a terrible thing to do. Yeah. That's a lie, shouted the other woman with a croaky voice. And she held the child even more tightly. Solomon looked at the women. Solomon looked at the baby. And what do you think he did? Give the baby to the first woman. No. Give the baby to the second woman. No, he didn't. He said, well, shall I? No, he didn't keep the baby for himself. He didn't want a baby. Smelly nappies. What he did was he called one of his soldiers and told him to put the baby on a table, pick up a sword and chop the baby in half. And then the women could have half a baby each. Have the back half or the front half. Yeah, sorted. Well, can you imagine at the very moment when the sword was raised up above the soldier's head and was about to chop the baby in half, the woman who claimed her child had been stolen cried, "Stop! Let her have the child. He's my baby, but I'd rather him be raised by another than have him cut in two." "Oh no," said the woman holding the baby. "The king is right. Cut the baby in half." It was exactly what Solomon was hoping for. "Now I see who the real mother is," Solomon said. "She would rather give up her child than see it harmed." And he took the baby from one woman and gave it to the other woman. And what do you think God's people did? They clapped. They did. They cheered. They applauded because they could see that they had a king who had been given wisdom from God to be able to decide from those two women who was the real mother of the baby. The king had indeed been given wisdom, and that's what he'd asked for. You see, wisdom is something we get from doing the right thing. We learn how to do the right things by doing the right things. And gradually, over our lives, we become wise. We get wised up to doing the right things. Solomon had spent his life doing the right things, but he realised with his new challenge, being a king, he needed even more wisdom because he'd never been a king before. And you are going to face challenges ahead, new things that you'll need to do, new experiences. And every time something comes up which is new or something you're not sure about, you need to ask for help. The amazing thing is, there's someone you can always go to for help. Well, we know you've got your parents, your grandparents maybe, you've got your teachers, your friends, the people, the adults that you trust, and you've got people in authority. Maybe you've got youth workers or police men and women. You've got people who work for the council and in government. You can trust them. There are lots of people who will help you, and it's good that those people exist and they're there. You can ask for help. But isn't it amazing, wherever you go, you know that you can ask God to help you to be wise, to make good choices. And I hope and pray that you still do that. You still ask, and you can trust that God will help you. It's amazing, isn't it? Let me pray for you now. Lord Jesus, thank you that you are there for us. Thank you that you will give us the wisdom that we need. That when we face challenges and difficulties and things that are difficult and hard to do, thank you that we can turn to you and ask for help. And you will help us make the right choice. And thank you for our parents and grandparents and teachers and friends and those trusted adults around us who we can ask for help, and we can know that they are there for us. Help us to be good friends to the people around us. Help us to be those who help one another and make good choices in our lives. Lord God, we want to be wise. Help us to be wise people. Amen. So, thank you for joining us for our story of the wise king. Keep learning, boys and girls, learning new skills, learning to be better at some of your old skills, because you've always got lessons to learn, and learning is fun. Learning's fun. Enjoy your life lessons this week, and hope to see you next week. Bye for now.